WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
Is now awarded.
Live in the studio.
It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Steve Robertson joins us here in just a minute on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line, genespage.com. 247 Sports. Ole Miss insider Michael Katz at 8:30 and Tom Luganbill with ESPN's college football team at 9:30. Everybody joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. The show is brought to you by the Amazing Steaks and award-winning Elijah Craig Bourbon at Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. And Steve Robertson joins us. Steve, not sure that you could really take anything away from the game Saturday, but I think the fans enjoyed seeing Kamario Taylor throw his touchdown pass and also rip off a 19-yard run.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of games like that, right? I mean, and Levy said it best, I thought, in postgame. Rather than just bring them in, let them hand it off, you get a chance to see them really play and put some things on film, and then you've got some coachable moments. But, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since State's been able to kind of stretch their legs like that. And you know, State did what an SEC team should do against an opponent of that quality. And all due respect to Alcorn State, but this is a chance for State to kind of get right and, you know, get a happy locker room, and now you're 3-0, you know, for the first time since 2017, and you got a really good chance to be 4-0 after this weekend.
Are you ready to say that Fluff is now the number one running back over Johnny Daniels?
Well,
I'm sorry, under
exactly.
Booth. I'm sorry, over Booth.
Yeah. I think Fluff is probably the most complete of the backs, and but I think you're going to need both of those guys. You know, I mean, you really need the full expansion to that depth chart. But, yeah, I think you go to Fluff when if the game is on the line and it's 4th and goal from the 1, that's who I'm bringing in. But, yeah, I mean, you're going to need both of those guys. And it was so good to see guys, you know, like Xavier Gayton and Seth Davis get out there and run a little bit. Colin Wilson got a little play too. And so the running back room is, in many respects is probably as deep as Mississippi State's ever had. And I kind of go back to think a little bit about DeCenso and Dante Walker in some respects, that they haven't accomplished that yet.
No.
But to have a tandem of that kind of talent, I think, is very important for State.
How do you feel about the offensive line 3 games in?
Well, I'd feel a whole lot better if they'd have some continuity. I mean, it's been 3 different fronts all 3 games, you know, because you've had some guys a little bit banged up. I mean, you thought you had it figured out, and then Blake Steen gets hurt. Then the next week, Timothy Lewis misses the game. This week, Albert Reese misses the game. So it's been, you hadn't had the final 5 the whole way through. But I think things will settle a little bit this week. Albert Reese is expected to be back. He was just kind of a precaution type thing, and that's the benefit of playing, you know, in Alcorn State. You know, when you've got some bumps and bruises, you can get some guys right. And so I think the offensive line's done some good things, but they don't really have the cohesion yet. And I think part of that's because you hadn't been able to play with a consistent group.
Northern Illinois coming in on Saturday.
Yeah, they scored 3 touchdowns this year. And one of those came on a kickoff return in the 4th quarter against Holy Cross when they were down 10-6. I mean, this is a team that's really struggled offensively, and they, I think they replaced in 18 starters from last year. And Coach Hammock said in a press conference earlier this year that they lost the most production of anybody in the FBS. And so, you know, we'll see how things go. They're going to be well coached. I don't know if they've got talent to compete with State. And, you know, that Maryland game, I went back. We watched both games yesterday, but the Maryland game, Maryland wins 20-9. But they had a drop touchdown pass in the end zone on a 4th down play. They had a kind of a self-induced fumble inside the red zone. Maryland should have won that game considerably, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot. It really wasn't anything Northern Illinois did. But to give the Huskies some credit, I mean, it's granted it's 2 games, a small sample size, but they've been really good in rush defense, giving up about 75 yards a game on the ground. So that'll be interesting to see, how State can kind of attack them.
All right, so 4-0 out of the gate. We talked about that this summer, that the schedule lined up for them to be 4-0, and you and I hit that numerous times. Levy and the staff are doing what they need to do. Anything jumping out on you on defense? I mean, they lose Whitson, which people believe, along with Isaac Smith, best player on the D. I don't know if it's a next man up because I'm not convinced they have that much depth, and I don't know if you could see anything from playing Alcorn. So where are you with that? Just kind of saying.
Yeah, what I worry about without Woodson is the pass rush, right? I mean, yeah, you've got some guys that are comparable of some guys you've had in the past. But, Woodson was clearly kind of emerging as the bell cow on that defensive front. So, yeah, how they handle that will probably define the season. But back to your comment about being 4-0, I mean, I don't think it's just, being 3-0 with the prospects of going 4-0. I think State, outside of maybe that second quarter against Southern Miss, has looked pretty good. And that's really what you wanted to see, is some progress and kind of ignite this fan base. And you begin to think about what the ticket demand is going to be in 2 weeks. State wins this ball game, Tennessee should certainly win theirs. And to bring a quality team like Tennessee in a Davis Wade Stadium in week 4 for an SEC opener, that we'll find out today, hopefully will be a night game. If you want tickets, you need to go ahead and get them now, because if you're going to wait till next week, you're probably going to pay more than you should.
Ooh. Yeah, and Tennessee's got a squad, man. I know there's plenty of time to talk about that, but that was a hell of a game, Georgia and Tennessee. How about Brian Kelly losing his mind? They just won the game. He gets the first question about running the ball and offense, and he loses his mind. Did you see that, Steve?
I did. The first thing I want to say, Michael Cobble has been down there forever. Michael is a good dude. Michael's also an LSU guy, right? And as all those LSU media tend to be. But the reality of it is, it's probably not the best first question, but I thought Kelly was a little bit over the top there. I think he was just kind of waiting for an opportunity to ignite. And the truth of the matter is, they have not run the football exceptionally well. And, they had 5 picks in that ball game against Florida and then kind of eke out a win. I think LSU fans are right to be a little bit concerned. I mean, you expect to be better offensively than you have been when you got Nussmeier back. I know he got banged up a little bit in camp, but, you probably don't ask that question first, but you got to get to it at some point, and as a coach, you don't get to pick and choose when the questions are asked. So.
I don't think they're that good. And I say that knowing that they beat Clemson in Florida. I'll tell you this, Steve. No one in the league jumps off the screen. They don't.
Oh, I agree with that. I really do. We wondered kind of going into the year who was going to be the best team. And a lot of people thought Texas or Georgia. And kind of what you've seen is Arch is trying to kind of grow up a little bit. Having them preseason number 1 was probably, in hindsight, the wrong decision, because he is a first-time starter. I don't care what his name is, and I don't care what his pedigree is. That's a tremendous amount of pressure for a first-time starter. But I don't know if we have a national championship team at this point. Some people have to kind of develop. That LSU secondary is elite, though. I mean, those guys really run the football. So you got to think they'll get the offense kind of figured out at LSU. But I don't know who's great in this league. I think there are a lot of good teams, but I don't know if there are very many great teams.
Okay, fair enough. Steve Robertson, genespage.com, the Boneyard Podcast, 247 Sports. He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, we'll do it again later in the week. Thanks.
See ya.
All right, genespage.com, 247 Sports. And we're live in the Bank Plus studio. The show is brought to you by Kessler Prime and the Renaissance Ribeyes, Fillets, Porterhouses. Rare, medium. Bacon wrapped shrimp, scallops, I don't know, side of crab meat. Pair it with an Elijah Craig Manhattan. KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Michael Katz, Ole Miss Insider at 8:30. Trinidad Chambliss out of Ferris State University goes for 412 yards against the Arkansas Razorbacks on Saturday night. Ole Miss wins 41-35. Back in a second. All right. Michael Katz, djournal.com, Ole Miss Insider. Rebs 2-0 in conference play, wins at Kentucky and at home against Arkansas. I don't know if either one of those coaches are going to survive, but Ole Miss takes care of business. And Trinidad Chambliss is the a toast of the town. Is that fair? Okay. He played because Austin Simmons' ankle is banged up. And he looked good. He's a transfer from Ferris State University, which we just realized is in Michigan. Did you tell me that? Big Rapids, not Grand Rapids? I'll be damned. Okay. All right. And Jackson did not know that the state of Michigan's in the Midwest. So I'd like to get your reaction to that. It's not in the Northeast. It's in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin,
Illinois.
Fair enough. Yeah. You're Indiana.
Ugh. I would want to live there.
I don't.
The Midwest in general. Not just
No, I don't. I mean, the place is amazing this time of year. Now it'll go the wrong way here in 60 days or so. And then in the spring and early summer, it's amazing. And in the summer up there's great. But I'll go up there and hang out.
Yeah. About it.
And I've only been to Ohio State and Penn State's campus up there, so I haven't been to many campuses. Louisville, Kentucky's in the ACC, and I don't know if people consider that the Midwest. It's kind of getting into the Midwest.
Ooh, yeah.
It's kind of like in that tweener. Nashville they say is in the South. Okay, not even sure about that, but
That's
Louisville,
tough.
Kentucky, Bourbon Country, Horse Country. Where are we?
What do they claim?
Are we the Midwest? We're not
Right.
the South.
What do they claim?
So are you no man's land? I'm not sure,
I don't know.
but Michigan is in the Midwest. So just wanted to let you know that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, hell, that's why I'm here. But I'm trying to think. Penn State, that's the Northeast.
Okay, yeah.
Is that
yeah.
fair?
Yeah.
State College,
Sure.
been there. Unbelievable place, out in the middle of nowhere. But a cool spot for sure. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, and we're brought to you by Rick's Pro Trucks, spray and bed liners, lift kits. Oh gosh, y'all need to go see Casey this week at Rick's Pro Truck in Gluckstadt, Madison County, and he's a huge Notre Dame fan. So just walk in with like A&M gear or something.
Yeah.
Borrow some Clemson gear, or just an right 0-2 on a shirt. But he's the manager out at Rick's Pro Truck in Gluckstadt. So give him how about them Fighting Irish? Because they're going to have to win out. Win out, Jay Meadows, to get into the college football playoff. Ole Miss is now talking college football playoff. I mean, they only have 3 away games. That's it. So, they got 8 home games. Is
Wow. Then we're halfway done with them?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so they go to Oklahoma, to Georgia, and to Mississippi State. And one of those away games is in the state, as you know, and 90 miles from their campus.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, great schedule.
You're crazy.
Great
but,
schedule.
of course, you've got on a Kansas City Royals shirt,
Right.
so you're really crazy.
It's facts. Adam Frazier.
Adam Frazier's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll
Big
talk
time.
about that later, but he's awesome. One of my favorite players.
Too.
You want to know what I did this weekend?
Hit me.
All right. What did let's see. Wendy and I drove. We don't ever drive together. We drove to Starkville together.
Nice.
So many times I'm coming from somewhere else or something's going on, but we drove together, which I thought was like a big feat within itself,
No
right?
doubt.
I mean, it's crazy. And we went to Louisville Wine Bar, met some friends for dinner on Friday night. Robbie and the team at Louisville Wine Bar. It's a beautiful bar. Gorgeous. Got a little bit of New Orleans in it, a little bit of Charleston, South Carolina. Absolutely gorgeous bar. Flatbread's amazing. They've got some appetizers that'll melt your face. I mean, fabulous. We had a pinotage from South Africa, which was just delicious. There was a lot of Tito's flowing at the table, and we had a great time. Saturday, Two brothers. Yeah, took the kiddo. You know, we've retired from tailgating, so we don't have to be anywhere. It's the greatest thing ever. I mean, I loved our tailgate. The lady who ran it was super awesome, and we left on good terms, and we can always rejoin. But we met the kiddos at Two Brothers. Absolutely smashed tacos and wings, and their whatever it is, their cheese ball, pimento cheese fritters or whatever.
Yeah.
Good Lord have mercy. I was starving by the time we got there, and then went to the game. And so it was a good weekend.
That's pretty solid.
Yesterday, Wendy and I drove back. We got on the boat, took a few laps, and we watched the Cowboys. She actually watched. She was into the. Well, I mean, that was a good game. There was a lot of back and forth there.
I
mean, Russell Wilson played phenomenal football. He and Neighbors kept hooking up deep. I mean, Russell was just throwing it up deep, and Dallas decided to not turn around and even think about defending the football. And Dak Prescott had a hell of a day, and in the end, they go into over. I thought the Cowboys had won it when Dak took them from behind. Then Russell throws the bomb to Neighbors.
Golly.
Then Dak has to come back down the field and lead them to the field goal, and they kick a 64-yarder with 7 or 8 yards left in it, and then they go into overtime, and Dak runs the ball down the field 14 yards, and they kick a field goal to win. But Wendy hung in there.
Nice.
And she watched some of the red zone. I don't know what's gotten into her, but she's turned into a sports fan in the last 6 months. She wanted to watch more Mississippi State baseball than I did, which has never happened. And then what else did she watch? I don't know, maybe some other things, but it's crazy. I mean, for somebody who's in sports marketing and sports talk radio the last 23 years, she never cared about sports, and now she's into it. It's really cool. It's crazy.
Well, she's about to be it's a perfect time, man. It's about to be October.
Playoff
baseball's here.
I don't know if she'll get into that.
Heat.
I'm not. I mean, maybe if like a Mississippi State player was in it.
Oh, we'll have some.
Yeah, I think maybe she could get into that. I don't know who's going to make it because I haven't really kept up. I mean, I saw where Mangum got some hits up in Chicago, and I thought that was cool. And honestly, I don't have the bandwidth. So there.
It's September 15th. He's still playing baseball.
You damn right he is.
That's incredible.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
It's National Double Cheeseburger Day. So let me give a shout out to some of our amazing local restaurants. Like Burgers Blues Barbecue just made a post on National Cheeseburger, double, but whatever, Cheeseburger Day.
Right.
Obviously they have amazing burgers, smash burgers. They do a special every month. They've got, 5,000 toppings, and I may have exaggerated there, but you know the drill. Burgers, Blues Barbecue, Dogwood, Flowwood, Madison, Brandon, National Double Cheeseburger Day.
Love that.
Also, Martin's in Livingston, absolute smash attack with their cheeseburger. Get bacon, get cheese, get lettuce, get tomato, hold the mayo, mustard on the side. That's me, extra pickles. Also, McBee's Wine Burgers, Lake Harbor and Ridgeland. That's another melt your face type deal. So left and right, and believe it or not, Taste has, and it's a double patty, which is funny, but Taste Italian Kitchen has a fabulous, sneaky good burger, and it's a double patty burger. So I'd like for you to go local, go all in, go ahead and call your buddies. You want to recap the weekend with Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, and others. I hope you go local. I hope you go to Burgers Blues Barbecue on National Double Cheeseburger Day. I hope you go to Martin's in Livingston. McBee's, Lake Harbor and Ridgeland, and Taste Italian Kitchen. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Who do we have? Michael Katz, Ole Miss Insider. Trinidad Chambliss. Woo! Transfer from Ferris State University, 412 yards and 2 tutties against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Kiffin wins another one, 41-35. Michael Katz next. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, National Double Cheeseburger Day. Brought to you by the fabulous burgers at McBee's Bar and Grill. Their wine burgers are delicious. McBee's right there on Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. It is one of the coolest dive bars in the Southeast and has been for 40 years or whatever it's been. And check it out today. Celebrate a double cheeseburger or just a single cheeseburger, whatever you want to do, at McBee's Bar and Grill. Their wine burgers are fabulous. This is ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We welcome in QB1, Michael Katz, biggest Southern Cal Trojan fan in Mississippi, covers the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss 2-0 in conference play. They go to Kentucky and win. They host Arkansas and win 41-35. Trinidad Chambliss, 412 yards, 2 TDs. Michael Katz, what was your takeaway on the Ole Miss Rebels on Saturday?
That Ole Miss can scheme it up offensively about as well as anybody. That was just a really impressive performance by Trinidad, and listen, you put in a backup quarterback in the SEC, and it's not always going to go as well as it did for Ole Miss. Trinidad was awesome. He looked completely in control. They put him in good positions. He really helped with the run game. He was accurate. He was smart with the ball. And they needed it because that was a game where, Taylor Green was going step for step with what Trinidad was doing. And, it came down to basically who made the first mistake, and Ole Miss recovered the one turnover of the game. But, it's the SEC. It's, you take the wins where you can, and as well as anybody, like Ole Miss's games against Arkansas are just always bizarre, in one way or another. And survive in advance. I think that was impressive. And obviously, I think the defense, you need to see a little bit more from that group. But that's a good win. I think that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I agree. How bad do you think the Austin Simmons injury is? It sure doesn't look good when he's hobbling around.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when he went back in for Trinidad, when Trinidad hurt his hand, it got worse, and he looked pretty bad on the sideline. And when we talked to Lane Kiffin last night, and he said he probably wouldn't have put him back out there in the second half in terms of availability. So, it'll be something to monitor again this week as things progress. As you know, Ole Miss plays things pretty close to the vest.
Sure, everybody does.
With the injuries, and Austin wasn't on the availability report towards the end of the week last week, and he was available. It's just I think in terms of what Ole Miss wanted to do offensively, Trinidad made the most sense. Will that be the case this weekend? I think we're just gonna have to wait and see.
I don't think there's any doubt. No way Austin Simmons is healthy enough this weekend, in my opinion. I think this is Trinidad's team. It could be for good, depending on how this thing rolls out. Because, I mean, if he gets all the snaps this weekend against Tulane, and then you got LSU coming into town with that secondary, really, Austin hasn't played. I mean, if that's how it works out, by the time you get to the LSU game, Austin hasn't played that much. It looks to me like this could be Trinidad's team for a minute. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because heading into the season, this was an uncontested thing, and I think Austin is a really good player. He's young, and then he makes some mistakes. I think the injury obviously kind of forced things here, but I don't know how Ole Miss sees it, but personally, I think there's two ways of looking at it. It's go with the hand that brought you there. Which in this case, if Trinidad keeps playing well, it's probably hard to take them out. The offense looked really, really good in sync with him in there. Now, granted, I do think Arkansas's defense is pretty bad.
Oh, it's awful.
So
it's one tier up from Mississippi State's defense from last year. So that should tell you that's how I kind of look at it. I mean, Lane just worked that defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty appalling. So I think, if it is Trinidad's show this week, seeing what he does against Tulane, I think is going to be really, really important because Tulane's defense is very good. Tulane is very good. So I think it'll be interesting to see that. But, they do have a lot invested in Austin, though, too, in terms of NIL and, and just all that they've kind of, put into him is this being his team. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to do whatever is going to win them games.
Sure.
And what that is right now, I don't know, but I think we'll know more after this weekend. I mean, if they're 4-0 heading into LSU week, and it is Trinidad this weekend, he plays well again, that's going to be a hell of a conversation heading into LSU week.
No doubt. Michael Katz, djournal.com, Ole Miss Insider. Rebs 3-0, 2-0 in conference play. And as Katz mentioned, they host the Tulane Green Wave, who just beat Duke. And John Summerall can coach. He's going to be if he's not the hottest name, he'll be one of the hottest names. I don't think he's going to take Virginia Tech or UCLA because those are crappy jobs, and he doesn't have to. But we'll see what else, kind of plays out here over the next 8 weeks as far as job openings. All right, what about the Ole Miss defense? They didn't look good.
Yeah, it's the run defense, I think, is concerning. And, I asked Lane about it, I think it was last week, and, he admitted they were missing some tackles and stuff, but maybe that the numbers didn't portray the whole picture because of the way that they were scheming things. And you take certain things away, you're going to have to give up certain things. And I do understand that. And I do know that, Taylor Green is dynamic and he can just wreck you in the run game. But I also saw, the running back Washington run almost untouched for a 47-yard touchdown up the middle. So I think that has to get better because as you get deeper into SEC play, teams are going to run the ball well. They're going to have better offensive lines. It's just going to get harder, and teams are going to want to wear you down deeper in the season. So I think that has to get better. I think the individual pieces are there. I think the defensive linemen are good. I think the linebackers are good, but they just kind of seem like they're out of position a little bit now, and then the tackling is a little sloppy. I know heading into this season, the talk was how does this group match up with last year's, because last year's was just historically great, that defense, especially the defensive line.
Sure.
Right now it's clearly not there. Could it get there by the end of the year? Maybe, but I think if anything, it's more of it really makes you think back to how good that group was last year. That allowed 80 yards per game rushing. That's crazy.
Filthy.
Taylor Green himself had 111 or whatever against Ole Miss this past weekend. So, but that being said, this Ole Miss lost close games last year. 3 games by 13 points. When it came down to it, they couldn't get off the field at crucial moments against LSU, against Kentucky. It hasn't always been pretty these first 3 weeks with the Ole Miss defense, but they've made the plays when they needed to. The 4th down stops against Kentucky, the big fumble and fumble recovery by T.J. Daugherty against Arkansas. I do think there is something to be said for closing games out. And again, maybe the numbers, and it hasn't all looked perfect, but they are, at the end of the day, making the plays they need to.
Michael Katz, Ole Miss Insider on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. They're 3-0, overall 2-0 in conference play. They host Tulane and LSU back-to-back here, 2 teams from the state of Louisiana. Are you ready to say that Harrison Wallace III, the receiver transfer from Penn State, that he's going to emerge as the guy for Trinidad or Austin this year?
Man, I think heading in, I really wasn't 100% sure what he was. Penn State threw so much to their tight end, and he was incredible. Just a different looking offense, and Harrison, I think, put up 700 something yards last year and was very good, but he for the most part, wasn't like the number one target because they were so dependent on their All-American first-round pick tight end. It's pretty amazing what he has done at Ole Miss so far. Just in terms of all three levels, the short stuff, the intermediate, the deep stuff. He seems to catch everything. And he seems to also have a really good relationship with either quarterback. It doesn't matter which one is in. He seems to be in sync. I think Caden Lee will get going. He had almost 900 yards last year. He's going to get his eventually. I think heading into the season, I thought that DeJon Stribling was going to have the role that Harrison Wallace did in terms of that guy who was going to emerge. And he got his first touchdown this past weekend, and I think he is still a very good player, Stribling that is, and he's going to have he's going to have a nice year. But I'll put my hand up. I did not think it was going to be Wallace who was going to emerge from that group of really good transfers they brought in. It was always going to be one of them. It was just a matter of which one. And hand up. I didn't see it being Wallace, but he has been awesome so far, and he's a mismatch. He does everything well, and he's just a tough nosed guy, and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue being a go-to guy for either guy.
No, I'm with you. All right, Michael Katz, Ole Miss Insider on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, and again they'll host Tulane and LSU back-to-back weeks. Kat's also a Southern Cal alum. How do you feel about UCLA looking like a Division III team and firing their coach on Sunday?
I mean, I don't want to take I don't want to take a victory lap or anything, but that was just such a tough situation. Chip Kelly leaving when he did kind of just left them in such a bad spot. Where they just sort of had to hire somebody, and I really like Deshaun Foster, and I know him personally a little bit. Really good dude, but he was just put in such a bad situation. But I mean, man, you bring in Nico and a good transfer class, and they've recruited pretty well too. And you thought they actually ended the season pretty strong last year. I think they were a game away from a bowl. I think they went 5-7, so it looked like things were kind of looking up, but man, the New Mexico game was that. I think that was kind of the last straw, and I don't know if you saw the pictures, but the Rose Bowl was almost completely empty.
How far? How far is that from Southern Cal's campus? How far is the Rose Bowl?
It's probably about like 15 miles, which in Los Angeles traffic could be like 2 hours. It just kind of depends.
That is crazy.
Yeah, if it's 5:00 p.m., it's going to take you a while to get to the Rose Bowl. I'll say that.
Dang. Okay. Did you go to most of the games or all the games when you were at Southern Cal?
No, I went to all of them.
Okay.
For better or worse.
Yeah, you weren't there at a great time, were you? I mean, I don't even remember. Tell me what was happening. What years?
I was there in 2011 and 2012. 2011 was great. They went 10-2, but they were ineligible for a bowl game because of sanctions.
Okay.
I think finished like number 5 or 6 in the country.
That was Kiffin.
Then the next year, and then the next year they were preseason number 1 and went 7-6, and that was that was I think they were the first preseason number 1 team to ever finish the season unranked. So I saw a little bit of everything.
And so that was the year Lane got fired on the tarmac.
He got fired actually the next year, like 4 or 5 games in.
13. Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of saw the beginning of the end of it there.
And now he's a top 10 coach in college football. It's just
crazy.
It's
crazy how it works out, huh?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's wicked good as a play caller. And he's top 5 in the country as a play caller and top 10 as a overall. And some people, I mean, Ole Miss fans would have him top 5, and that's great. But, with Saban leaving and this guy leaving and that guy leaving, I think right now it's a great question on who you'd have. Dabo falling, taking a step back. Who would you have in your top five? So, all right, did we hit? Let's see anything else on. I mean, I know it's like, it's like Navy SEALs on college campuses as far as injuries. Anything else that you're raising an eyebrow at as far as 3 games in, Cats?
Not raising an eyebrow. I think the offensive line did play a lot better this week, and I think that was huge. Again, it was Arkansas, so you take it, I guess, a little bit with a grain of salt, given what they were overall defensively. That was a big question heading into, just after 2 games. The offensive line had really been up and down. It seems like they figured things out. Again, I think we're going to learn a lot against Tulane and obviously a lot against LSU because that defense looks absolutely insane right now over in Baton Rouge. But I think it's that was the one piece other than the defense figuring things out a little bit more. That was the one thing on offense was the offensive line. We knew the playmakers out wide and the backfield were all there and the quarterback situation. But it was really, were they going to figure it out up front? The first 2 weeks, it was not always great. I know Austin was getting some flack for the turnovers, but 2 of those picks were with him getting hit, and that's pressure right up the middle. That can't happen. So it seems like it got better this week. I think it needs to stay that level, or else you're going to get to some of these defenses later in the year. The LSU, Oklahoma, Georgia, all these teams with really, really good D linemen. It's going to get harder. So I think this was a good step, but I think I need to see it for another week or two before I fully believe.
Okay. I think that's fair. I don't think anybody jumps off the screen at me, Cats, in the SEC. Not even Georgia. Definitely not Texas, as they're really trying to find their way. Not Bama. I think LSU is good, but far from special. So I just think that's where we are right now with the portal spreading everything out. So like you said, we'll see what shakes out the next few weeks. All right, man. I hope you have a good week as you get ready for the Tulane Green Wave.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. Michael
Katz, djournal.com, Ole Miss Insider on the Out of Bounds show. And Trinidad Chambliss, 412 yards, 2 TDs. And he led the way as Austin Simmons couldn't. He played a couple of snaps, and he ran one and threw it. He actually went in and threw a 4-yard touchdown pass or something. And yeah, I mean, he was 1 for 4 yards with the TD, and he ran it once for 8 yards, and then they pulled him out. Kiffin said, I wouldn't have put him back in, or he didn't think he would have put him back in. After they did all that, Trinidad, whatever, he hurt his hand or something. Lenore Sellers, South Carolina's quarterback, got knocked out in the second quarter. South Carolina didn't score 1 point after the first quarter. Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia get another win.
Dominant.
I don't know how long Clark Lee Motors can do this. I mean, he hires Jerry Kill from New Mexico and gets Diego Pavia and some players so Jerry Kill was the head coach. And brings in Jerry Kill's OC and I think one more coach. Does this all year before last. Gets Diego Pavia and a couple other dudes. They've got plenty of alums. They can fund giving their football team 20, 40, 50 million a year. It's just a matter if they want to, just like any SEC team.
Right.
And maybe Clark Lee, once they were able to get Diego, I can't imagine what they got him for. I mean, probably a cheeseburger and a Coca-Cola.
Right.
And then after he got good, he's making over $1 million, which more power to him.
Yes.
I don't think he's an NFL guy, but I wouldn't want to. He's kind of built, he's kind of wired like Jake Mangum. I don't want to tell any of those guys that they can't do something because then they'll go, Diego Pavia will go play 7 years in the NFL.
Right.
Because we just all know people, we all know a few, not everybody, it can't be everybody, but people that just won't be denied. Yep. I mean, they're going to be something really cool, successful. And Diego Pavia, to me, is just a kid. He doesn't care. He rode the JUCO bus. He came from nothing. We read last year. I mean, I think everybody had to share like football pads in high school. I mean, it just, and then so he's good enough that he comes out of he balls out in JUCO.
Right.
Nobody wants him. New Mexico picks him up. They have 4,000 people at their games. Right. They don't even have a training table, IP, and that, whatever. You just play. Then he plays well. Somebody figures this whole Vanderbilt, New Mexico thing out. They bring in all these people. Diego Pavia balls out, beats Alabama. I mean, they ran over Alabama last year. When was the last time you saw Vanderbilt, if ever?
Over anybody.
Well, that's a good point. When was the last time you saw Vanderbilt, you witnessed Vanderbilt pin their ears back on Alabama and physically rip off 8 and 10-yard runs?
Ain't happened.
I mean, I know they beat them in 1982, but I don't remember that game.
No.
So isn't that right? I'll have to kind of recall it from last year, but they had not beaten Bama since 82. They beat Bama last year. They beat Auburn, and they go to a bowl and all that. Now, look, their defense, that hit on Lenore Sellers changed the game.
Yeah.
Okay? And then Diego Pavia and them did enough to do the deal. He's QB for Vandy. And the little dude can ball.
You can bet against him if you want. I'm not that dumb.
And so it's still John Mateer, right?
Oh, yeah. Heisman-wise?
So we're trying to find what just best. I don't even care about that.
Sure.
Just best playing the best best quarterback play in the league.
Mateer.
It's not Arch Manning.
No.
It's not DJ Lagway. We thought they were going to have, and they may turn it around. But Mateer, Nuss, although you'd have liked to have scored more with 5 picks on Saturday against Florida, but like I said, I don't care. Look, they're not winning. Florida has players. If you couldn't watch that game and see the way that they look, they have players. They have recruited well, and they have landed some dudes in the portal. Something went off the damn rails again for them. I don't know. The Out of Bounds show, we're recapping week 3. Our game balls are brought to you by Superior Foundation. For all your foundation repairs, superior.ms. So if you need French drains or foundation work or driveways, superior.ms. Also, National Cheeseburger Day brought to you by Burgers Blues Barbecue in Madison, Burgers Blues Barbecue Dogwood Flowwood, and Burgers Blues Barbecue in Brandon. National Double Cheeseburger Day. You can go single or double. I highly recommend extra pickles, bacon, lettuce, tomato, and cheese. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Tom Luganville at 9:30.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m. and this ain't okay show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
Oh, good morning. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Eye Care Professionals, Dr. Kirk Jeffries, and the team at Eye Care Professionals. From a routine eye exam to cataract surgery, Eye Care Professionals, 2 locations on Lakeland Drive, one in Jackson, where the Nick's restaurant was for years, and then Flowwood Bellmead. You know what? I bartended in the building where Eye Care Professionals is now. Nick's restaurant. It was fabulous. One of the best restaurants in the Southeast for years. I bartended in there. I don't know why I've never thought of it like that. Yeah. I mean, I've been going to Eye Care Professionals because I wear contacts and glasses and so on for, well, however long, 20 years. And I bartended in there. Let me think how that building. Walk in.
Are you saying you're entitled to some kind of discount because you're...
I think I should be, but I think I bartended in their lobby. But no, I think it kind of wraps around now. I'm trying to... I don't know what all Kirk and them did as far as moving stuff around. And I've got to think back because the bar was on the right when you walked in to Nick's. Golly, I was a legend.
Yeah, I mean, do you have tenure there?
Lied about getting the job.
There you go.
Told them that I had bartending experience. And it was obvious the first night I couldn't make anything.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Well, I wanted, I wanted experience quickly. And then I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a place to be thrown to the fire.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Que Sera, Nick's, Shapley's. Probably should be in the bartending Hall of Fame.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know why somebody... You're supposed to be my PR hype man. You should get in touch with someone and get me on the docket.
I'll start promoting you at the kickball league.
Made a mean salty dog. Do you have kickball tonight?
Oh yeah.
You gonna get off the losing train?
Yeah, we'll see who we got to play. But
we lost last.
Expect.
This is not a show of losers.
No, it's not.
I mean, everybody who signs the board goes on to have like unbelievable careers.
That is facts.
Look, I mean,
they have
Jake Mangum, Brent Rooker, Gardner Minshew, Governor Reeves. Left and right. Demario Davis. So it's crazy.
That dude's defying age.
How do you feel about your Saints? Oh, okay.
We're
deep.
Been in position to win ball games. Spencer Rattler's played very good football.
Mm-hmm.
He played pretty dang good yesterday. I cannot ask him for more.
Why not?
He had 3 tutties. He did a lot.
Okay.
He played a heck of a ball game. He's had the team in position to win both the games. They lost. I can't ask much more of the guy. I really can't.
I'm going to a Saints game later in the year. I figure there'll be 30,000 people there.
Maybe.
Which just means I can get to the concessions and all that easier. Tulane at Ole Miss. Ole Miss laying 12.5. Okay. Northern Illinois at Mississippi State. MSU laying 21.5. So just wanted to throw that out there. It's early in the week.
Ugh.
Again, Ole Miss laying 12.5. All right, over Tulane. Mississippi State laying 21.5 over Northern Illinois. The Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And Let's go Stella Artois. We haven't really talked a little bit about Stella, but the Stella Artois caller line is 601-707-3750. We want to hear from you. Your one big takeaway from week 3. My takeaway is we do not have a dominant team in college football, which means we do not have a dominant team in the SEC. Georgia and LSU are not dominant. We'll see what they become over time. Bama's definitely not dominant. Texas is going to be a long road possibly for them Longhorns.
Out of the teams that we have seen, obviously.
Oklahoma?
Far. What now?
Do I need to put them number 1 in my power rankings?
Simmer down. But why not?
I'm not scared to ruffle some feathers.
Let's hear, baby.
Auburn and Oklahoma this weekend. Oklahoma laying 6.5.
Wow.
So they'll be going against Jackson Arnold. This is the thing here. Mm-hmm. You got Freeze against Venables. You got Jackson Arnold against John Mateer. They don't play each other at all on the field, as y'all know, but that's how we like to frame it up. That's 2:30 ABC. Auburn at Oklahoma.
Wow.
Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma laying 6.5.
A lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. I don't care.
It is.
That's a lot.
So, and let me tell you this, South Carolina losing Lenora Sellers. I don't know what the latest is. They got to go to Missouri this weekend. Missouri's laying 13.5 on them.
Wow.
13.5. Something to keep an eye on. Florida at Miami. Florida needs to win a game. Or they're going to start. Well, they're already starting to call for Napier's head. But Miami's laying 7.5 as Miami hosts Florida this weekend.
Wow.
Now, Florida would have taken care of business if they would have just beat South Florida.
Right.
And looked pretty, not 5 picks. They would have had more people at that game than Miami. Instead, they're 1-2. That's 6:30 ABC because they're both big names. Florida at Miami. Miami laying 7.5. Texas is playing Sam Houston. Arch Manning doesn't look good. Texas looks discombobulated. They don't look interested. I don't know, how hungry the locker room is. Arch is throwing from weird arm angles. I was going to give him a pass having to go to Ohio State week 1. You notice I didn't freak out like some people. Oh, my God, he's not any good. Now I'm kind of like,
he ain't no good.
I'm wondering what – well, I don't know about that, but UTEP's not any good.
Sure.
I mean, regardless of what they are, Texas has plenty of talent. I don't understand how you don't look good against UTEP. They don't have players.
He was under 50%.
They don't have speed. They don't have athleticism. They don't. I mean, University of Texas, El Paso, you're on the border. That's not bringing in dudes.
No.
Their NIL's probably $1,200.
Yeah.
$1,800 maybe if somebody decided to give them some bar and tavern money right there on the U.S.-Mexican border.
Pedestrian. That's the one word for him.
Okay.
I can get another guy out there. I can get Joe Blow off the street to do that. It maybe barely, what was it, 40%? That's completion percentage there, 40-ish? Was it 11 of 25, right?
Arch, yeah, they weren't good numbers.
No, terrible.
Brad Martin on the Golden Moon Casino text line. Bo, I know you're no mayo zone on the cheeseburger. You're right. NMZ, I want you to adopt it. NMZ. We're in a no mayo zone. And I'm proud of that. I am. By the way, the fried shrimp tacos at Two Brothers on Saturday, to say that they hit right is an understatement. The fried shrimp tacos from Two Brothers on Saturday saved me, along with the pimento cheese fritters or whatever they are. They're delicious. Do them in the little cast iron. Damn. All right, Tom Luganbill, National College Football Analyst with ESPN at 9:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Oh, my goodness. We didn't really have time to get into a giveaway today, so we'll do one tomorrow as part of National Double Cheeseburger Day. I love cheeseburgers from local spots or at home. And I would like to know from you. We'll do a little taste test. I'd like to know where you get your best cheeseburger. What restaurant and bar, dive bar? The text line, Golden Moon Casino, text line 601-885-3776. Best spot for you as far as your go-to, or a couple of them, your go-to for cheeseburgers. Oh, man. Don't you love a good cheeseburger?
I do.
Sizzling coming on out of the cast iron or local or off the grill. Damn.
Really hitting. Like that.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
Wendy and I made clean nachos yesterday.
I like that.
At the house.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Local beef from Kylie Mellons in Canton. We got home, kind of roamed around the lake and jumped into the red zone, and then Dak and the Cowboys. What a game. Cowboys Giants.
Yeah.
That was wild. I know A&M and Notre Dame was crazy.
Yeah.
Ole Miss and Arkansas had a little bit of that, fireworks and theatrics. Good hell, Georgia and Tennessee was good. And yesterday it was game after game in the NFL, wasn't it?
So good.
That the level, the entertainment value for the NFL is unreal. It just
unmatched.
Well, it always delivers. And there were games all up and down the lineup that were fun. And so many fun plays and big plays. Level of play is sick as far as athletes and coaching. But, the Cowboys secondary is horrendous. But that back and forth between Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott.
Man, that's great.
Making big play after big play. That was a ton of fun to watch. And I thought Dallas was, DOA a couple of times. And then when Dak let him back, I thought, well, now it's over. And then Russ hits Neighbors one more time. And then Dak has to run it back down the field to get a field goal, to get it into overtime. And then, Brandon Aubrey is incredible, kicking a 64-yard field goal.
Dude, it's bang.
Guy was working at a software company. And his wife was like, maybe you should try out for the NFL. What? Now he's the guy can line up. He's done this more than once from 60 plus and drill.
Oh yeah.
He had on the 64-yarder, he had another 7 or 8 yards. They asked him post game, hey, what do you think? He said, I think I can go 70-71. That one looked like it could.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that game was wild.
Russ dialed back the clock a little bit.
He did. He played well, man.
Yeah, those little
he
passes.
was just throwing it up. And Neighbors is so dangerous. And evidently the Cowboys are teaching when 3 DBs are running around a wide receiver, nobody looks for the ball, which worked out for Russ.
Yeah,
and because they were cooking, he and Neighbors, and we just had a little scoring fest.
Yeah.
And that was very entertaining.
Almost all in the fourth quarter, it felt like. It was just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and Dallas didn't start off hot. Giants got up early, 13-3. But they did what they needed to do. So I don't think Dallas is that good. They haven't, Jerry and Steven haven't done what they needed to do in any of the off seasons. But they signed Jadeveon Clowney. They realized they have no pass rush. I don't know how that happened. We had Micah Parsons, and now we don't. And now Russ was back there cooking a cheeseburger and just throwing it, whatever. I don't know how we don't have a pass rush.
Crazy.
We didn't address it till the 7th round and in the draft, and then we decided to trade Micah after the draft, and this all makes a running ton of sense. But give the offensive line gave Dak time at times, especially crunch time. I wish he would throw to CD and Pickens even more.
Yeah.
The Tolbert thing's, it's just not going to work out. That was, It's a development deal out of South Alabama, and I just don't think
No.
the guy can't break a tackle, and he's just not in the NFL. You have to be awesome. But I think they'll have to score like that because their secondary's not good and they don't have a pass rush. And the last time I checked in the NFL, that kind of matters. Look at Philly last year. Look at Kansas City when they've been winning. They've had a pass rush.
Look at the Packers this year.
Well,
Parsons, there it is. They're so good.
Yeah, they're good. They know who they are.
Yeah.
They're well run. They're not run on drama and look at me and things like that. So yeah, the Packers are really good. The Eagles took care of business.
They did.
They beat the Chiefs. They hey, going into Arrowhead, you say whatever. I don't care. It's not easy. And now look, Mahomes put it right on Chelsea at the goal line, and Travis just. I mean, it was like when Dak hit Tolbert late in the game. I thought, at first I thought it was tipped, and then you realize when they slow-moed it, he hit him right in the hands. He dropped it. I thought that could have been curtains. But Mahomes hits Kelsey right over the middle, right there on the goal line, and he bobbles it, and the Eagles pick it off.
Like,
and
come on.
There you go.
Yeah, it cost me fantasy. I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have Kelsey? Or do you have him on another team?
Oh, yeah, I got him on another team. Oh, our team's, we're good.
Okay.
We're just fine.
All right. Well, I want to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Here's what I like about Underdog. It's simple, it's fun, and it turns any game into a chance to win. You don't have to worry about managing a fantasy lineup all season long. Instead, you just pick higher or lower on player stats totals and enjoy the ride. I've been playing for a while now, and honestly, the thrill when your guy hits that number is unmatched. It makes every catch, every run, every throw feel like it matters. Tonight, I'm checking out Rays and Blue Jays, and I'm rolling with Jake Mangum for higher than 1.5 total bases. And here's the kicker. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. With entry starting at just $1, that's why Underdog is the move. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and make your plays today.
Download the app today and sign up with promo code OUTOFBOUNDS to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code OUTOFBOUNDS. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 and older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Boom. Underdog Fantasy. We have a doubleheader tonight.
Love doubleheader Monday.
All right,
night
so
football.
Baker Mayfield and C.J. Stroud at 6. And at 9 o'clock, you've got Justin Herbert.
He's so good.
Yeah, and Harbaugh.
And Lad McConkey.
Yes, going against the Raiders.
Love it. We got Lad and Genty tonight. And both of them are going to put up some numbers for us. They'll both score. And we'll finish. We'll handle business. We'll move to 1-1 in the fantasy league.
Let's do it. All right. Also, it's Monday, and if you're like me, you need something to round out the weekend. That's where Underdog comes in. It's the fastest way to play all season long. Pick higher or lower on player stats and let the games do the rest. You can go with touchdowns, receptions, passing yards, or even turnovers. What I love is how easy it is. You're in, you're out in under a minute. And then you've got your plays set, ready to watch unfold. For the first game of the year, I've got my eye on Chargers and Raiders. I'm locking in the Lad McConkey to go higher than 273.5 total yards. The best part, that would be Justin Herbert. I'm going with Justin Herbert to go higher than 273.5 total yards. The best part, get your picks right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash with entry starting at only $1. If you want to keep your week moving, Underdog is the move. Check it out now, UnderdogFantasy.com.
Download the app today and sign up with promo code OUTOFBOUNDS to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code OUTOFBOUNDS. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 and older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
right. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're still recapping week 3. So we've looked a little bit to week 4, but we'll see where this goes. We're going to try to hit both with Tom Luganbill here over the next 20 minutes or so. And the show is brought to you by the GMC Sierra truck, GMC Yukon, pre-owned and new Fowler GMC. Right there, Pearl Brandon. You can visit their website this morning, FowlerGMC.com. That's FOWLER, FowlerGMC.com. We welcome in Tom Luganbill on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Tom Luganbill, how would you assess Arch Manning's play 3 weeks in to the season?
I would assess it from probably a different perspective than others are assessing it, and that is looking at the offense as a whole. Because I'm not so sure right now Texas is where they need to be around him to help him out. Has he played to the standard why everybody is expecting? No. Is it a reasonable standard? No. Has he done some nice things? Yes. But they're banged up at running back. They've replaced 3 offensive linemen. I don't know if they feel overly confident that they just have a bunch of go-to guys for him right now. You know, they haven't been able to get the ball into Ryan Wingo consistently. But I think the number one thing that would frustrate me, if I'm Steve Sarkisian or what have you, is the hero ball mentality, playing outside of himself. If the play's not there, trying to do too much to create something, and then you end up with a negative play. Sometimes, and when the younger you are, the harder this is to do, just chuck it in the 7th row and live to play the next down. And I think he's got to get back to settling in to not trying to do too much.
Okay. All right. So they've got another.
I think it's easy, Bo, I will say this. I think it's very easy to blame everything on him. Because if his name is Arch Smith or Arch Johnson, we're probably not having this level of scrutiny.
Yeah. So they have another warm-up game this weekend, then they take a week off, and they go to Florida, who's not playing well, but I think has good players too, just like Texas.
They do have good players.
Okay, we'll get to that here in just a second. So, a couple weeks from now, and then they go on a heck of a stretch. So they got to get right in the next couple of weeks, or they're going to, they're going to drop some games. Tom Luganbill, national college football analyst with ESPN. He joins us on 105.9 The Zone. All right. What was your takeaway from DJ Lag? So Chris Doring on Saturday night said he wasn't real happy with the play calling from Napier. Didn't feel like he gave Lagway an opportunity to be successful. Obviously, some of the throws were still on Lagway. But what was your takeaway with him throwing 5 picks in Death Valley Saturday night, Luke?
Well, number one, they're throwing it way too much.
Yeah.
He had 47 attempts. That's not what Florida wants to be on offense. So I didn't think they helped him out with balancing the act, whether that's getting creative with underneath easy throws, incorporating the quick screen game, or just flat out attempting to try to run the football better. But when you're on the road, you're playing tonight against LSU in a top 5 team, you turn the ball over 5 times. I don't care if you're playing the 45th team in the country. You're going to have a hard time winning the football game. And I'll say this. That game was won 20-10 by LSU. One of LSU's touchdowns was the pick 6. That game wasn't lost because Florida doesn't have players.
Right.
Something's going on with execution. I don't know why DJ Lagway is regressing. I think he's doing way too much. I think he is pressing. I think he's trying to take too much ownership of feeling like he's got to carry the team as opposed to just making the plays that are there. And I get it. There's a tremendous amount of scrutiny on the program right now, a tremendous amount of pressure. But like Cade Klubnik looks like 2023 Cade Klubnik right now, DJ Lagway looks like DJ Lagway of the first 4 to 5 weeks last year, not the last 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, what's going on? Florida is unique because top 10 public university. You talk to a lot of people down there, and I know you have too. And even though they've been successful under Spurrier and Urban and with Billy Donovan and other sports leagues, it's academic driven and so on. But we put them in as a powerhouse once Spurrier and Urban made their runs. They weren't before that, as you and I know. Growing up, Florida was nothing close to that. What do you, I thought Billy had turned. I thought Napier turned the corner. What's going on down there, Luke's?
I did too. I mean, if you looked at that football team the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season, nobody wanted to play them. They beat Ole Miss. They beat LSU. They were rolling. They were lighting it up on defense. DJ Lagway looked like he was a budding superstar, and it's like they've regressed. And I don't know why. I don't know if anybody knows why. And let's not forget, everybody's on Billy Napier, but if it wasn't Billy Napier, it'd be somebody else.
Sure.
But it makes you wonder, is it an institutional, organizational thing with the university?
Yes.
More so than it is with an individual? Because, Dan Mullen didn't all of a sudden take stupid pills.
No.
Jim McElwain didn't take stupid pills.
Oh.
Like, all of it, there's something that just seems off there, and I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, and I don't know why the regression has happened on offense. That team's got players on defense.
Yes,
now.
they do.
They harassed
Wow.
LSU. So I don't think all is lost. What they can't do is let the outside scrutiny dictate how they perform. And that's a lot easier said than done.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card, Luke's, after Napier ripped off, 5, because I think he can coach. And after they ripped off those wins with DJ on one leg, I thought, damn, they're going to get rolling. And you saw it too on Saturday. I know, I saw you on TV, and they got dudes on defense, Luke's. I mean, they can play. I know. I don't understand.
It's strange. It's really strange. Why, for whatever reason, with their talent base, because it would be one thing when you go on the road, right, and you're playing LSU at night, and you just get outclassed, right? Which a lot of people do. They're just flat out better than you are. That wasn't a talent discrepancy Saturday night. That was an execution problem.
Mm-hmm. And so, all right, let's go to that game. I think Florida can win this weekend. I think they can go to Miami. I mean, Miami's laying 7.5, but I mean, Miami's good, but I don't think anybody's special, by the way. Nobody's jumping off my screen this year yet. This year, we'll see what plays out. They may with you, but do you think Florida can go down there and win this game this weekend?
I think Florida can go down and play toe-to-toe with Miami the exact same way they did with LSU, only if you do it and you screw around with the football and you're sloppy with penalties, then you have no shot at winning.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line. If you're asking me, can they compete with Miami from a talent perspective? Absolutely they can. And I think Miami is a pretty damn good football team.
Yeah.
And they look like they may have turned a bit of a corner. And so, I mean, we'll see, obviously. But you can't, when talent is equitable, it's not necessarily right the plays that you make more so than the other team. It's the mistakes that you avoid.
That's a good point.
You make fewer errors than the other team when it comes to.
Did we lose Tom? All right, let's try to get him back. Tom Luganbill, national college football analyst with ESPN. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line, and the show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Book your stay and play right now, pearlriverresort.com. Award-winning golf and the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook, Philip M. Steakhouse, and all a ton of fun, 24 to 48 hours. Tom Luganbill. We're about to talk Ole Miss, too, and Arkansas as soon as we get through this. And I have to hit Auburn at Oklahoma for sure. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN, brought to you by Cover Source Solutions, locally owned, Mississippi grown, family-owned business with offices in Brandon and Ridgeland, proud to serve their neighbors with fast, honest HVAC and plumbing service. Cover Source Solutions, coversourcesolutions.com. Oh, okay. All right, well, Luganbill's phone may have died. We'll see. Florida plays at all right, here are the big games. State and Ole Miss kind of take a step back, if you will. Of course, Mississippi State played Alcorn State last weekend, so then they knock out their fourth non-conference with Northern Illinois this weekend, and Ole Miss will host Tulane and John Summerall. But the big game, you've got Auburn at Oklahoma. And Jackson Arnold was at Oklahoma last year, as you know. And John Mateer may be the best quarterback in the SEC. It's early. Nussmeier's looked good. Trinidad Chambliss looked good. Blake Shapen's looked good. Joey Aguilar's looked good. Ty Simpson now looks good. We didn't want to give him a shot. But I'm not counting Bama. All right, Tom Luganbill, National College Football Analyst with ESPN. Let's go to Ole Miss and Arkansas. Austin Simmons didn't play, Luke's. He's hurt. Lane can make anybody look good. He's such an amazing play caller. But Trinidad Chambliss from Fair State University put up 412 yards. What was your takeaway from Arkansas at Ole Miss Saturday, Luke's?
Well, clearly they targeted a guy in the transfer portal that they felt could fit into their plans if something happened to Austin Simmons. I thought that kid acquitted himself very, very well. The moment was not too big for him. I mean, you go from Division II Fair State. I've called a couple of their games in the Division II playoffs before. That's actually a really, really good, prominent program. But to go from that stage to that moment in an SEC conference game and not have eyes that look like saucers, I thought was really telling from that kid's temperament and perspective. And he put them in a position to win. It wasn't easy. I mean, they were trading blows and going back and forth. I think Arkansas has improved. We talked about it last week. I said, what's going to happen? I said, fireworks. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I was really impressed with how that kid played.
Yeah, he was awesome. And Lane is so good. I mean, he just dials it up on you, and he understood what Trinidad could do, right? And don't you think he tailored the play calling right around that, and it worked out?
Oh, absolutely he did. I mean, when you're going into something with a backup quarterback, you're going to condense the play sheet, and you're going to sit down with that guy throughout the week, and you're going to start going through everything. Do we like this? And, all right, it's off the sheet. All right, do we like this? Yeah, Coach, I love that. All right, let's find a dozen different ways to do that. Do you like this? No. Okay, that's off the play sheet. And you don't put the kid in a position to have to do something he's not comfortable to do. And I think, and that's where coaching comes in. That's how you prepare a guy to succeed. The coach's job is to put the player in the best position to succeed. I thought Lane Kiffin did a masterful job of that.
All right. So Ole Miss hosts John Summerall at Tulane may end up being the hottest coach in the country for a new job, Luke. I don't think Virginia Tech or UCLA are good enough for him. Maybe Tech, but I don't think so. So he needs to wait and see what shakes out. But Tulane, for who they are, they're pretty damn good. And Summerall is an absolute beast of a coach and recruiter. They just beat Duke. Yeah. Ole Miss should win, but I don't know. Tulane could make it interesting for a minute.
Yeah, well, remember I had the game at Tulane with Ole Miss, if you remember.
2 years ago.
Deep into the fourth quarter, yeah. And that thing was a dogfight. Now, it was a really good team for Willie Fritz, but this is also a really good team. And they had, Jake Retzlaff fall in their lap from BYU in July. I mean, you talk about a gift from heaven. Holy smokes. So you have a quarterback immediately jump into the fray for you. It's a great bounce-back location when it comes to the transfer portal because you have such talent in that state. And if they go elsewhere, when they come home, you're going to have an opportunity to have really, really good players. So, heck yeah, I'd be concerned about them.
Okay. Let's go to Georgia at Tennessee. Hell of a win for Georgia, considering everything that played out. Holy smokes. And got to be devastating for the Tennessee Vols because they're pretty damn good too. But Georgia doesn't look, again, they don't jump off the screen at you like they did just a few years ago. And I know we've spread all this stuff out.
Yeah.
But what's your takeaway on Georgia going into Neyland and getting that win?
Well, I think you also have to have some perspective when you look at Georgia and look at how poorly they looked the first 2 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you go on the road into that environment and you need your young quarterback to play his butt off. And I thought Mike Bobo did an unbelievable job. Like, when was the last time we saw Georgia offense utilize the quarterback's running ability?
Yeah.
Like, deliberately. And so I thought that was really smart. They're getting the best out of him. I thought he took a big leap in a very difficult set of circumstances. The throw that he made down the stretch there was just an absolute drop in the bucket. So I think that there was some real growth there at quarterback for Georgia. Mm-hmm. I think Georgia's secondary has a lot of work to do. They don't make plays when the play is there to be made. There's too many contested plays that the receiver is winning the matchup. And I think that's got to be corrected. In 2 weeks when Alabama plays, and by the way, nobody's talking about Ty Simpson being the most accurate quarterback in America over the last 2 weeks. Yeah. All he's doing is completing every attempt he throws. Georgia's going to have to get that lined up. I'll tell you, though, I was really impressed with Tennessee, man. I was impressed with Joey Aguilar. Was it perfect? No. Did he show that he was ready for the moment? Absolutely he did. Did he play good enough to win? I think so. And when you get into a game like that, you know, what are you hoping to do as a coaching staff? Let's try to see if we get this sucker in the fourth quarter and maybe have the ball last. Well, they did. And the guy missed the field goal. That's football. It's part of the deal. It sucks, but it's part of the deal. So when that happens, you know, you're always going to look at one play here and one play there. I thought it was a really good showing for two really good football teams, and it's a shame somebody had to lose. And I felt the same way about the Notre Dame-Texas A&M game.
Well, let's talk about that. So Notre Dame's 0-2. You don't want a bye week when they got one, but they did. Yeah.
But they're pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, well, they're like Florida. They have players.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they're playing better than Florida, though.
Yes. But, you know, with Florida 1-2 and Notre Dame 0-2, I still look at them and I'm like, man, they got dudes. Look at them in the line of scrimmage. But, hey, give A&M credit in a hostile environment. And Marcel's not a refined QB by any stretch, but he's got skills. Walk me through what you saw in the second half, A&M and Notre Dame duking it out.
Well, first off, imagine having 12 penalties on the road and winning the game.
Unreal.
I mean, that's how sloppy Texas A&M was, but they kept hanging around. I think the thing that I admire about them, and I said the same thing about the Georgia Tech Clemson outcome, is that the Texas A&M Aggies never looked at the scoreboard. They just kept playing. Worry about the next play. Worry about the next series. Let's see if we can climb back into this thing. And when you don't look at the scoreboard, you don't press. And I thought that's where Marcel Reed did a really nice job of showing maturity and keep hanging in there. He took some shots. He wasn't perfect, but then he made a lot of plays that needed to be made when they needed to be made. So, listen, you hated to see a team lose in that deal. I thought there were some officiating calls against Notre Dame that I wouldn't agree with, that I thought, you know, impacted the game. But that was just a good football game between two good teams. And, you know, you feel whether you're a Notre Dame fan or not, and it was a very important game for Texas A&M to win when you consider the schedule, you know, the rest of the way. But Notre Dame is sitting there with that record. But how many people have to play Miami and Notre Dame in the first 2 weeks of the season?
True.
You know.
No, I mean,
a lot of teams that might be 1-1 or 0-2 that we look at as being good teams that would have Notre Dame's record right now.
Oh, and Notre Dame could still go like 9-3. So
sure.
And
don't know if that's going to get you in the playoffs, though, man.
No, I don't. I think you got to go 10-2, which takes me to this weekend: Auburn at Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold was there; he's now at Auburn. John Mateer and his OC are now in Oklahoma. As you know, their wide receivers are now healthy. They had like 5 guys out by Labor Day weekend somehow last year. And Venables looks like he's got this thing tuned up on defense. Are the Sooners going to win this one this weekend?
Well, I think it's going to be a matchup that will challenge them more so than Michigan because of the experience on the offensive side that Auburn has. You know, if you're an Auburn fan right now, you got to be very encouraged by what you've seen. And if anybody who doesn't think the quarterback position is important, just look at Hugh Freeze, his first 3 years at Auburn, and look at him right now.
Yeah.
Right? The quarterback has changed everything. So they've made good decisions in the transfer portal and the offensive line. They've got wide receivers. Jeremiah Cobb's got back-to-back 100-yard rushing games, and Auburn's got guys on defense. I think this is going to be a really fun game. The experience of Jackson Arnold, if he doesn't get caught up in the emotion of going back there, it's one thing to have a chip on your shoulder. It's another thing to let it consume you. So I think he's got to show the maturity to handle that. This will be the best offense as a whole that Oklahoma has played against. So I think it's going to be a back and forth deal, and it's going to come down to not so many plays. It's going to come down to mistakes.
Okay. I can't wait. Auburn at Oklahoma this weekend. All right, we talked about it last week. I want to talk about where you started at quarterback. Georgia Tech, Haynes King, take care of Dabo and Clemson. And, I mean, they've just bottled something cool there, and they're tough as hell. How good is Georgia Tech?
I think they're very good. You know what they are? They are the ACC's version of Vanderbilt right now.
Okay.
So you have a football team that embodies their head coach's personality. They play the game the right way. They're tough. They're physical. They're mentally tough. They don't beat themselves. They have an absolute warrior under center that, he's one of those guys. Have you ever seen that meme of like Tom Brady when he's sitting on a bench and he's got his head hanging down, and it says, if you ever see Tom Brady sitting like this on the sideline, your team's about to lose.
Yes.
Right? That's what happens when Haynes King gets off the ground and looks like he's torn his ACL, broke his wrist, and snapped his neck. When he looks like that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just think they're a really good football team. And I think that they are based upon like the core principles that every coach in America, regardless of what scheme you run, would like to describe their team as. Tough, physical, hard-nosed, don't beat themselves, low penalties, low turnovers, all of those different traits, that's exactly who they are.
Well, Brent Key, I know that's his alma mater. Watch out. He may win his way out of there. But I agree with you on Haynes King and Diego Pavia. Those guys just like to throw down and beat you. I got 30 seconds. Who's the best team in the SEC right now?
Best team in the SEC right now, holy smokes. 30 seconds, you're going to have to give me 28 of them. I would probably say LSU or Georgia. I've not decided yet. I think it's too early to tell.
Okay. All right. And we'll talk next week about Dabo and Clemson. Thanks, my man. Appreciate it, Luke's.
All right, buddy. See ya.
He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. It's National Double Cheeseburger Day. Shout out to Burgers, Blues Barbecue and their 3 locations, including the one in Dogwood, Flowood. Also a shout out to McBee's Bar and Grill on Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. And another shout out to Martin's in Livingston. Have a good day. Everything's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you tomorrow.